the Chase Thomas Podcast, for people who have nothing but time to kill.
I think all three of us spend a lot of time on NBA League Pass and watch a lot of different teams and like to keep up with where things are headed. And if you were talking to the casual fan watching this right now, who may or may not have watched much of the Utah Jazz, can't blame them based on how the Jazz have played this year. But Jackson, why and why not would you recommend a fan spend time with what you've seen from the Jazz this year on League Pass for a little bit? Sell the Utah Jazz for the NBA here.
Well, I'm biased with how I'm going to answer this, but I've always been a fan of Colin Sexton, and this has been a weird season for the Utah Jazz kind of guard rotation because Jordan Clarkson has largely been their best guard over the past couple years, him or Conley. Most highest usage guard, I should say. They added Sexton in the trade last year. They draft Keontae George. They have Talen Horton-Tucker, who he's an interesting player. He's so strong, and I think he's able to drive so well, but his finishing numbers don't quite match the kind of image I have for him in my mind. And they're playing all these guys, and then all of a sudden, Chris Dunn's a rotation player. He's a really good defender. I think he's kind of like I don't want to say unassertive or unaggressive, but he's kind of a move the chains, kind of run the offense point guard, like not old school in the like set the post up, enter the ball, run your offense that way. But I think he's more of a traditional point guard in the sense of he's going to be on the court, he's going to bring the ball up from time to time, and he's going to guard like hell. But with the Utah Jazz, they are such a unique team because there's different front court combinations they use with Olynyk, Markkanen, Kessler, John Collins, and they have so many intriguing guards and so many good big men. And then Simone, I cannot pronounce his last name, so I'm not going to attempt to. As I've been watching them this season, he's had some incredible shooting display games, and he's starting games for them, playing legit minutes. And they're a team, they do a lot of like, especially if they run in transition off a missed shot, they do a lot of like flare screening stuff. They push tempo pretty good, and then they want to get it to shooters in the corner or have Kessler rim run. Lots of flare screens. Watch for that. But he's had some huge shooting games, 39% from three. And I don't know. The thing I like about the Jazz, and to a certain extent, teams like the Bulls, I like when teams are on the brink of disaster, not franchise-wise, but just their season, and then they kind of find themselves. I think that that's fun to watch as a fan. If you remember Donovan Mitchell's rookie season, 2017, 2018, they were horrible to start the season. Gobert got hurt. They traded for Ricky Rubio. That was right after Gordon Hayward left and then got hurt. And they were they didn't have an identity, to be cliche. Then Donovan Mitchell takes the reins and they go on an insane run, make the playoffs a few times. And now we're here. But this team, I think everybody views them as a farm system for the rest of the league. But to me, it's like, why not keep Markkanen? I don't know if they can do the rework and extend that some teams can if they trade for him. Again, not a CBA expert, but this is a team that a lot of these guys, there's no rush to trade. If they're playing well and you're getting developmental reps for Keontae George, he's playing a ton. I'm not going to say that he's been an amazing NBA player, but as a driver, he has a certain kind of polish and poise to him. Like he's got a quick twitch game, but I think eventually we'll see him as a guy who, I wouldn't say unorthodox finishes, but if he's a guy who became like a wrong foot layup type guy, floaters, finishing through contact, and I had to double check his size before the show, and he's 6'4", 185. And I think that just my view of basketball, that's a really intriguing thing if you can fill out that body. A lot of the premier scoring guards that get 18, 20, 22 points a game, they're 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", and 185, 195. And he's not an all-world athlete, but I wouldn't say that. Let me refrain from that because I haven't composed my whole opinion of him. I don't want to speak to that, but I think he's really promising, and I'm not going to say whether he's a star or a bust or anything, but he's a guy I'm keeping my eye on because I didn't expect him to play that much this season, in all honesty, because they have good guards on the roster with Clarkson, Sexton, THT, and THT was playing a ton earlier in the season.
He got a DMPCD last night.
Yeah, I've been reading Jazz Twitter a bit, and it seems that they're not too fond of him. And I know that some of the on-off stuff is bad, but like I said with THT, he's kind of a theoretical player for me. Like there's a lot of intriguing things about his game. His contract is manageable too, and just that driving style where it's all shoulders and elbows. I'm like, if that could ever click, that there would be something there. But yeah, definitely a team that I need to watch more and more, especially because they have a lot of these premier matchups with Denver, OKC, Minnesota, even Portland to an extent, who's also having a weird season with Ayton being hurt for a lot of the year, multiple bodies in and out of the lineup. And I truly think every team for the most part is worth watching.
For the most part. There are some that I don't even know who would be the least watchable right now. I don't know. Corban, do you have an answer there? Who's the least watchable in the league right now? Because it's not the Pistons. Pistons are fun to watch. I don't know who the least watchable team is right now. Oh, you're on mute, Corban.
Lovely. I was going to say, I do it once a show. It hasn't happened here. The Pistons have had some good games. I mean, I would put them just because Brooklyn.
Oh,
I was going to say Detroit, but they've been some phones. Brooklyn, when their offense stalls. It's so rough to watch. Like even Charlotte, I cover Charlotte, and Charlotte is 8-26, and they've had many a fun game come down to the wire. They just end up losing. But Brooklyn, man, when they are off, they are off.
Or they're getting fined.
Or yeah, exactly. Like that is a team I would say. Other than that, I'm trying to think. Not a whole lot.
I think that personally, Brooklyn's a pretty good pick. I think right now, I'm not a big fan of watching the Hornets because
well, LaMelo
Mark
Ball's
Williams
not there until Ball's back.
Injury.
Ball makes the Hornets a lot of fun. I've watched a lot of Hornets since LaMelo Ball's
been going off. Like this season, he's been good.
And the thing with the Hornets is they are so reliant, and they basically run so much offense through Miles Bridges, and I don't know, maybe I'm just perceived and colored from the off court stuff, but I'm like, man, they're not even going to retain him long term. This team is totally makeshift roster wise. LaMelo Ball keeps hurting his ankles, and it just sucks all around because honestly, one of the most kind of untalked about, under-discussed stories of the season, I think, is Brandon Miller. I think he's come in and he's been a pretty good player. He's a really good, or I should say promising, mid-range shooter, promising three-point shot. The driving game for a player that size, as well as some of the passing capabilities he has.
Go. Nicely done, nephew. The Chase Thomas podcast. Hell yeah.